powered by Council of Industrial Innovation and Research, CIIR. CIIR is a leading research and innovative organization which is basically known for its think tank pool and a unique knowledge base in the field of science and technology. CIIR has initiated this expert engaged podcast to have an unfiltered talk with our experts. So today we have with us an academic expert, a professor, a mentor, an innovative researcher. We have our very favorite professor, Dr. R.M. Mehra. Sir, welcome to our podcast.
Thank
So,
you.
so I would like to introduce Professor R.M. Mehra. So Professor Mehra holds his PhD degree in physics from University of Delhi and worked in Japanese Society for Promotion of Sciences. Later, he joined Sharda University as head of the department for conducting research on semiconductors and material sciences. He has nurtured more than 50 research scholars with his innovative experience for more than 50 years. Sir has bagged various awards and achievements. And as of today, he's an impeccable author with having hundreds of publications, having an H index of 42 and I-10 index of 110. Wow, sir. There is so much to talk about you, but all of this must be feeling very different. So, can you briefly tell me how do you feel?
Yeah, thank you very much for giving my introduction, and I'm really very pleased and delighted to have such an interview. To mention, I think I just remember a few moments back that such an interview I did about 50 years, and that was in All India Radio. And I wrote about 10 pages on sound, vibrations, and it was in Hindi. So that was my first recording, I suppose. And today, after so many years, I got this opportunity through CIIR. I am thankful to CIIR officials, the organization, and I'm so happy and also excited.
Right.
Thank you.
I'm glad, sir, that you are here with us today. And sir, if I take you back to your childhood days, like what was that one particular moment when you thought that you want to pursue science in your life?
Yeah, actually, I remember my middle school. Right from middle school, class 8th, 5th to 8th, there was middle, and then higher secondary, 9th, 10th, 11th. So in middle school, I used to, general science book is today also general science is there. So some of the things, were in my mind always. Then in 9th, 10th and 11th, the luckiest thing, the best part was that our teachers who were there, in all different teachers, 10th, 11th, same teacher, but 9th there was another science teacher. There was a combined science and things like that. Physics, in physics there was sound, electricity, magnetism, electrostatic, current, electricity, and so on and so forth. The best part, what I enjoyed, and I think my class fellows also might be, that they used to perform they will teach something, a small topic, and then they used to perform small experiments in the class, not in the physics practical lab or things like that, or chemistry lab and things like that. So this was one point that I had inclination more towards science. And second part, which I recall, that my elder brother, he was quite elder to me. We were, in those days, many children were there in a family. So he did BTech textile engineering. So he was also science student. So I used to perform some experiments in my home and show it to him. I remember one experiment, light consists of 7 colors. So I used to make a cardboard and then 7 colors, Vibgyor, and then rotate on the tip of a pencil. And the whole disc will look like white. Another experiment, I think now everyone does, and probably and from years together, electrostatic, that you have a balloon, you rub it, and you can stick it on the wall. Similarly, you have a comb and a small piece of paper, you can pick up so induction, electricity. And the centripetal and centrifugal force that uh, you have a bucket full of water and rotate it fast, and water will not fall. Or atmospheric pressure, like a glass filled up to the brim, just keep a piece of paper, cover it, and invert. Nothing will happen due to atmospheric pressure. So he was very delighted that his younger brother is so interested in experiments. So that I think my motivation for science liking. Today also I like science because science is the mother of all other disciplines, science and mathematics, physics and mathematics. So these two give rise to many disciplines like electronics and other things, which are now very engineering topics, even in PG.
So most of these students are confused on whether they should take a PhD degree, they should go forward with doing a full-fledged PhD, or whether they should just take a job and start earning for their family. So what would be your take on this situation?
The first thing, you said that science is all around. So I like to say about that. You are very rightly, and how sincerely you observe that science is all around, that I am not sure. But I think science is, science, you learn things by doing yourself. And science can be learned, anything can be learned in a laboratory. And I say, in a big gathering also, whenever I get a chance, I always say that every one of us is equipped with science laboratory. You, everyone. And where? Your house. And in the house, kitchen. In kitchen there is physics, chemistry, sound, everything is there. So science is all around, you have very rightly said, and we have to keep our eyes and mind open whenever we are moving. Now, coming to the PG students and then their inclination toward PhD, I think I take things a little differently. What I see right from my PG, that those who have chosen after higher secondary or schooling, those who have chosen BSc or MSc, they have always an better option to go for higher studies like PhD degree. Engineering this thing in engineering discipline, BTech, MTech, placement, corporate world, industry, this is common there. But anybody who is doing BSc, MSc or any PG, then I think there is no other choice if you want to stay in academic. Stay in academic. He wants to become a teacher, which is the most noble profession. But it is choice. I think it depends that at your PG level, what kind of teachers you get. And one more thing I would like to add here. Those days, opportunities to go for higher studies like Doctor of Philosophy were less. But now there is, everything is open. There are many universities, many IITs, from 4 to 13, 15, 14 IITs, then over and above very good private university. So the availability of seats is available. So I think it is just counseling and getting the right teacher, right classes. Then MSc, who is doing MSc, I think the best thing is to go for Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Right, sir. So I never actually thought it that way, that our mentors, like the professors who taught us or the teachers who taught us, can actually drive our thought process. Yes. On selecting. Yes. What we do forward in life, right? So, sir, the second point that I would like to shed some light on is I have so many friends who are doing PhD today, and they are on the verge of finishing their PhD.
Right.
But there are very few of them who want to be professors or who want to go into academics. Most of them are now focused towards industries or corporate jobs and all of that. So why do you think that happens after giving day and night in a full-fledged PhD degree? Why do you think the students are more interested in taking these kind of jobs and not being a professor or a mentor?
Actually, here also my experience, is different. I told you just few minutes back that a student, a PG student, postgraduate student, if he is not leaving PG, after completing PG, if he is not searching job, then the only alternative with him is PhD degree, Doctor of Philosophy degree. If somebody has, we have to counsel, we have to teach this, that look, after MSc you have to do some additional value addition, MSc, MTech, MSc something, then you can have some marketplace, you have to have place in the market. Otherwise, MSc, no one will keep you. You have to spend time. MSc, 2 years MTech, MSc, MBA, something you have to do for the corporate world. The industry or the corporate world will not take you like that. And therefore, the best choice that you have done so much project work in your BSc, you have done, or PG level I should say, because all disciplines are there, PG level, UG level, you have a background, you have been taught by professors. Now there is, previously we were having lecturers and then reader and then professor. Now assistant professor, associate professor and professor. But good university like University of Delhi, Department of Physics and Astronomy, there are very few lecturers, either reader or professors, big professors to teach PG. PG was considered to be a very good degree. And then they were always focusing that seats are available, I am available, if you want to do PhD, you can join with us. So, I think that though anybody who is for doing PG, his better choice, I don't say ultimate choice because one can change if he is capable or she is capable. But the proper choice is to go for Doctor of Philosophy, PhD degree now eligibility by UGC. PhD degree is considered for faculty members for NIRF. PhD degree is considered by NEC. So everywhere focus is, there is always a UGC is releasing that in India out of so many faculties, how much PhD. So this has becoming I should not say mandatory, but a trend that, because I tell you one more thing about PhD. I give my lectures to for pre-PhD courses compulsory for all research scholars, and I take that subject, research methodology. I tell all the faculty member repeatedly, because I normally don't give suggestions, I give advice, and I tell students and scholars that I am not giving you any suggestion. Suggestion means that you may follow it, you may not follow it, but I give advice, and advice you have to value. And I always say that PhD is not like a UG degree or PG degree. PhD changed the whole scenario, whole personality of a person. The same thing, the same subject which you have been teaching for several years, you will teach in much better manner. Your mind become analytical. So all such thing, if there is some guide is there, counselor is there, then I think better choice for PG people to go for PhD, go for teaching, the most noble professor in the world. And now it is highly paid. UGC has revised the grade. 7 pay commission furthermore. A professor gets more than 2 lakh, 2,30,000. A assistant professor gets more than 1 lakh. You can't imagine this much money from corporate. It is very difficult.
Right.
Very difficult. You have to do many things. So that's my thing, that I think my voice will reach to those who are confused, and I think they will get some inspiration and choose their career, future career.
Yes, sir. Sir, you very correctly said that PhD is not just a degree. It doesn't only teach you how to do science, it makes you a better person.
Yes.
It makes you a determined person
Yes.
to carry that degree for like 7, 8 years and
Yeah.
then go for a job. It took a lot of patience.
Yes.
Right? So, sir, my next question for you will be basically focused on, like, we have talked about students. About
Yes,
what
yes,
advice
yes, yes,
you can
yes.
give to the students.
Yes.
But now I want to focus on professors.
Yes.
How do you think, what impact do professors have
Yes.
on, guiding or just molding a particular PhD student into better be into an academics, better be a fellow professor, then go and do some industrial job or some non-associated job after PhD?
No, I think still your question is little bit mixed actually. We have already talked about the PG students.
Right.
And we have now, I think what you are trying to know now from the PhD scholar who has already chosen his career or choice to registered for or enroll for PhD degree. So I think you are focusing on that.
Yes.
So MSc part is over. So I think I started supervision of a student. My first student, she is in Canada. Professor in a university, in Canadian university, I don't remember the name, but we have. And I started supervising PhD with my own supervisor, Professor G.P. Srivastava and Professor P.C. Mathur, the two stalwarts of University of Delhi Physics, Department of Physics and Experimental Physics, Department of Physics and Astrophysics, and both they were experimentalists. There is a long story to say, but there is not much time. So during my PhD, I learned that there were a large group working with those people, because 1967 experimental physics started for the first time in Department of Physics and Astrophysics. You can understand the name, all were theoreticians, no experiment. And so scholars have a challenge to set up first the laboratory and other things, no grant and things like that. So many, no internet, nothing, very difficult. So I admire Professor P.C. Mathur and Professor G.P. Srivastava. What I saw in them, and Professor G.P. Srivastava, if time, because something is coming in my mind, so I must like to say, in Allahabad, there was one professor, Professor Krishna ji. There is a long story with Professor Krishna ji in my PhD, during my PhD, but I will not mention later something. You know that earlier also, in 60s, today also, UGC says that a non-PhD cannot supervise a PhD scholar. It was there in so many years back, and today also. You have to have PhD degree, 5 years of your research continuation after PhD degree, after lecturership. But Professor Krishna ji, head of Department of Physics, Allahabad University, is the sole person in India at that time who guided number of scholars for their PhD degree. he was permitted. He was so brilliant, and experimentalist. So, coming to your question, what I saw my professors, my guide, my supervisors, that they used to love their student. They may call you in their home for discussion. They will sit with you for long time in the night and never got annoyed. You see, it is sad that in a primary school I went, my son when he was studying, I saw on the board some, chart bana dete hain. If you don't ask a question, you will remain a fool for whole time, all of your life. If you ask a question, you will remain fool for a few moments because you will get answer. So they really guide, hand holding, loving. Never, disturb that, Mehra, you don't know this. They will say, no, it can be done like this. Try. So, I think hand holding, discussion, long discussion. They used to teach also that they have to find time. They find time. After teaching, they will sit in the lab. They may call their the wife to send the dinner for not only himself, for the scholars also. So we are getting a big tiffin to so that kind of a thing. So I think all professors, most of us, who was engaged in research, they are doing that. At one point of time in South Campus, when I was having, I have having number of research scholars. So people, a small room, 6-7 chairs. So people used to wait that this person goes out, then I will come. So we have to guide. We have to be friend. We have to be father. We have to be mother. All kinds of such treatment we have to give to our scholars, and they will respect you throughout your life, and they will remember you throughout your life.
So, sir, like we discussed, that mentors and professors, they play a very crucial role in guiding students on taking their path towards academia. So, sir, I also remember when I used to do my master's in IIT Kanpur. So the professor with whom I used to work, he used to be act like the biggest support system that you have at that point of time. So students should also, I think, believe that the professor and the mentor, what they are teaching, they should take it very seriously, and they should abide by what they ask them to follow and things. Right. So, sir, my last point that I would like you to explain is, what would be your words of wisdom to the students as well as professors on how they can take the research better. Like today, people say that in India, PhD takes 7-8 years. So students usually prefer going abroad, finishing it in 4 to 5 years. So why do you think that this happens? And what would you say to the students that it doesn't matter where you do science? What matters is what vision and what mission you do it with. Right. So what would be your words of wisdom?
First of all, I won't say that whatever I speak will be my words of wisdom. I will say, I'll just, what I have shared so far is my experience, my feelings, my sincerity towards teaching and research. First thing is that I think now in India, in all universities, institutes, IITs, engineering institutes, PhD degree completing submission of thesis does not take time more than 5 years. Well, first thing is this. Very rare cases it happens that it crosses the limit, and that too with certain difficulties with the scholar's side, or something that the professor has gone abroad for something and things like that. So it takes maximum 4 to 5 years. If it is experimental, it may go up to 5 years. If it is theoretical, not more than 4 years in any case, with fulfilling all the criteria laid down by UGC for quality and quantity check. So, I think again my saying this will help those who are thinking that it will take 7 years to rate. No, this is not the question. It takes 4 to 5 years, and there are people who are regular, that is full-time scholars. They even do within the time limit of 3 years, which UGC say 3 years. So 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Only one thumb rule. If you want to succeed, if you want to do your PhD in time, you have to meet your supervisor. Unless you meet your supervisor on regular basis, you will be difficult, because you will find difficulties, issues, and it is the supervisor experience, knowledge of the subject and the material which he has, reading every time. So you have to meet your supervisor on regular basis, not on WhatsApp, not on email, not on video call. No, that will not work. So I have seen my experience of guiding 50 students. I found many cases, I will tell you later on, that where the family difficulties are there, another thing, and what as a father, mother to my scholar, brother, friend, what I used to do. I may visit their house and tell mother-in-laws and father-in-laws that, look, if you want that she or he has to do PhD, then he has to do, and these are the constraints. So, second point, you say that I think whatever I said in few minutes back, that cover those points, but I'll still explicitly say. You know, there is a quote by Honorable Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Who knows? He was the best teacher. He is considered to be the best teacher all over the world. You know. His quote is, "The true teachers are those who help us think of ourselves." I repeat, the true teachers are those who help us think for ourselves. So that is actually at any level, you know. Right from school to PhD, a professor has to motivate a student in such a manner, scholars, that they start thinking of themselves, you know. And what I can say, I can make humble request to all the supervisors. I can't advise, you know, but I can make humble request that guiding scholars, as I said in between, guiding a scholar is require hand holding, love, affection, and professors are busy, you know. First thing is that as many professors, they are guiding many scholars, many different related topic of a particular subject. But still, if I have taken I will call it duty, if I have taken the duty of getting a research scholar, guiding a research scholar, I must find time on regular basis. Because I said in the beginning that a scholar should meet the supervisor on regular basis. But here a scholar is there to meet you on regular basis, but then please, that you should also find time to meet the scholar, discuss with the scholars, resolve his issues on regular basis. That regular basis may be once a week, 4 to 5, but regular basis. And to end, I will say that there is one story. I told that PhD degree is a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon in itself. Getting Doctor of Philosophy degree is a phenomenon. It's not a degree, it's a phenomenon. It changes the whole perspective of the scholar. I say, I tell this when I teach the first lecture, introductory lecture to my pre-PhD coursework student or scholars. You know, I also tell them that now you are not a student. There is a difference between a student and a scholar. A dictionary meaning, there is a difference. A scholar has to think on a very large perspective. A student has to learn a particular curriculum. That's all. So, a scholar. So, I used to say that, you know, there is a story, tortoise and rabbit. Slow and steady wins the race, and same is true with PhD work. It should be consistent. I tell my scholars and the gathering of scholars that you may write only one line in one day. But every time you have to do, every day you have to do some little work on your. If you make a gap of one day, it means 10 days. If you make a gap of 10 days, it means 1 month. You will lose the track. So, consistency should be there. That is very, very important. Continuity should be there. So, regular meeting and consistency, these two things are most important or the key point to success to have a PhD degree or quality PhD degree. Quality PhD degree. Because now so much technology is available, internet, email, downloading facility in the universities. You can download anything. They subscribe many journals, lakhs of rupees annually universities, most of the university doing. Then you have got scoopers and this and that. So getting material, you know, it's very easy. But you have to spend time. Spend time. Without spending time, nothing will come out. So my humble request with the supervisors that they should find out from their most busy schedule of teaching and research, they should find out, make a schedule, a timeline for each scholar to discuss on regular basis. That is what I feel will work for both the scholars and the supervisor.
Right, sir. So, the take-home message from our whole discussion is basically research, PhD, being in academics for a very long time is not a one-sided process.
Yes.
It takes both students as well as professors on the correct path. So the
Right.
student has to be consistent,
Yes.
has to be updated to
Yes.
keep meeting his mentor,
Yes.
and the professor has to be conscious about the fact
Right.
that they have a person's career in their hands, basically.
Yes.
So that is the broader message that
Yes.
we would like to convey
Yes.
to all of our listeners
Yes,
today.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
So, sir, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Like your 50 years of experience has given us so many insights about how young minds and the problems and the confusion that is there. I am pretty sure that our listeners must have got the answers
I'm
to all of
also
those confusions.
I'm also sure, and I wish that it helps the scholars, and my message reaches to their mind, and many queries which they have. I think it should dissolve like ice in water, you know, or colors in water. So all should they should have clear mind, and still I am available through you or many students know me. So still anybody even have some direct question can contact me on message, phone. I am available from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m.
So, guys, this was it for our current episode. Stay tuned for our next episode. Keep supporting Expert Engage by following us on all our social media platforms. So, I'll see you super soon with our next expert. Till then, stay safe and take care.